This video will serve as a review and instructions on how to use Collaborate inside the Blackboard environment. Collaborate is the video conference tool that is used by Blackboard for distance education courses. It is also used for hybrid courses. Collaborate allows you as a student to come into a course and to participate in that course in one of two ways. Actually, you could do it both ways. First way is called synchronous. That means if the class starts at 4 o'clock on a Monday afternoon, you may join the session, and we'll show you how to do that. You may join the room, the session. Those two words are used interchangeably. You may join it at 4 p.m. on that Monday. And you will be in the room live along with everyone else who is in that room, who may be physically seated in a classroom here at the university, or may be like you who are in the room virtually. You will see everything the professor does on the screen, from showing PowerPoints, to hearing discussions, to showing websites, to doing demonstrations. All of that can be seen in synchronous mode. The other way Collaborate works is through what we call asynchronous. Asynchronous means that Collaborate is also a screen recorder. So it will literally record everything that goes on the screen that the instructor is using. It also, if there's a good microphone available, will pick up the conversation that goes on in the classroom. Collaborate is a piece of software that is really not a part of Blackboard. When you launch Collaborate, you are actually launching an application that will exist outside the Blackboard environment. And you will see when you set it up on your computer that you'll see a little icon on your computer that will be called Colab. And that little icon basically represents Collaborate on your machine. Now, how do we get started? Well, the first thing you need to do, if you're going to be using your own computer to be a part of any distance ed class or any class at U of L that has Blackboard, you will want to come over here to the help screen, which is right here on, well, it's right here under the cardinal. You'll click on the help button and then come down here to where it says test your browser for Blackboard compatibility. You must do this. If you don't do this, then everything that happens from here on out, you'll be chasing bunny trails all over the place trying to figure out what's going on. Now, let's go ahead and let me do it. I'm sitting here on a Macintosh, and I am running my Blackboard experience inside of Firefox. I think I have the latest version. You'll notice over here right away it's showing us which ones it can play nicely with. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And as you can see, it basically says, all right, we see the following things. You're using Mac OS 10.9. Yep, we do that. Our browser language is set to US English. You are using a browser version of version 46 of Firefox. Browser security cookies are enabled. That's good. Browser security Java are not enabled. Now, why do we do that? We'll come back to that in just a second. Pop-up blocker is disabled. You need to do that. JRE, we will come back to that. And the correct version of Adobe Flash. Now, you'll notice down here where it says PDF built viewing, it says that Mac OS 10 has a PDF support already built into it. And that's correct. That's what preview is if you're a Mac user. Otherwise, it would say something here about, it would look out onto your computer and it would say, oh, I see you have Adobe Reader or some such. If you're on a PC and you're running if you're running Windows 7, goodness gracious, I hope you're not running anything older than that. If you're running Windows 7, this will probably say Adobe Reader. If you're running Windows 10, it will probably say the same thing. Now, let's get back up here. You see where it says Browser Security Java not enabled? If you have Java, and what is Java? Java is a way to run applications over the web through a browser. The problem with Java, as is the same problem with Flash, is both of them are security risk on your computer. And so the browser manufacturers, Microsoft, Apple, in this case, Firefox is Mozilla, they have tried to clamp down on the security issues with Java and Adobe Flash. So if you will notice up here in my Flash, it has a little shield here. And basically what it's saying to me is you have not granted this site any special permissions. Good. And by doing that, I am basically saying that all is well. I'm checking it right here. Now, when I start Collaborate, if there is a problem, I'm going to have to do a little bit of back checking to see if I have the latest version of Java. Now, on a PC, what will happen is you'll get a box that appears underneath your screen. In other words, it appears like right in here somewhere. And that box will say, do you want me to allow this secure content? You always say yes or okay, depending upon the version. All right, so that's step one. You want to make sure that before you even look at Collaborate, that you are going to look and see if your browser can be supported within the Blackboard. And I mean just Blackboard. All right, now let's go back. So here we are. I'm going to go back a screen. And this is where we just were. Now, the way I set up all my classes, and this will be 689, 688, 580. Those of you who are taking courses by conference, so that would be 585, you will see pretty much the same look. I always have on the left-hand side a very short list of links. Let's not complicate things, folks. So up here is the welcome. Below that is the syllabus. Below that are the course modules, the work. And then below that is Collaborate sessions. To get into Collaborate, when you're in one of my classes, you go here and you click on that. Now, right here is a real quick down and dirty video that will talk to you about Blackboard Collaborate. It's shorter than me, or I'm sitting here talking right now. And I just put it in here, so if you ever need a reminder of how to use it, it's sitting right there. This is the link to your session. Now notice mine is, of course, obviously labeled 689-20. Yours would read something like 688, might be 580, whatever. It's going to have a link here. And then this little icon over here, this represents Collaborate. So it's telling you that this is a Collaborate session. You click on it, and then right here is where you want to focus. And you click on Join Room. Now is where it starts getting a little crazy. Let's slide this down so we can see it and talk about it. It says you have chosen to open meeting.colab, which is a Colab file. What should Firefox do with this file? I'm going to tell it to go ahead and open it, and then we'll come back and talk about what we may end up having to do. So I'm going to say you may open that. And then what it does is it starts looking around for the application. It then says, oh, Blackboard Collaborate. Did you notice there was a flash? Did you notice there was a flash? And all of a sudden, here we are. Back here behind us is Blackboard. So we have left Blackboard, and we are out here in a whole new world. Okay? Now, you've come into, I'm showing you this as what I see as the moderator, the owner of all of this. you see something very, very, very similar. It's very little difference. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click on what I want Collaborate to do. And by the way, I do this before you get in. So I'm going to say, go ahead, and we're going to share the desktop. And then there it goes. So now what we see is our desktop. So you are seeing what I am seeing, what the students in the class are seeing. So right now we're all seeing the same thing. We're seeing the class. Now over here, let's go over what we're looking at. Up here is a video window. Don't use it. Do not send video unless you are instructed otherwise by me. Below that are two buttons. One button is your talk button. You want to click that on if you wish to talk. So if I now click that, you can probably see that there's a little line right here and it's bouncing back and forth. It's telling me that it's actually allowing me to talk. And if I were sitting on the other end of this, either on another computer or in another class or whatever, I would be able to hear me yammering away. Come down here, and this is the list of people who have connected into this room, who are sitting in the room. And as you can see right now, it's just little old me. Below that is where I can send chat. So if I don't want to have either the talk button on, so that if I'm sitting at home, and in fact, it's probably been happening right now that you can hear the thunderstorm going on outside. If I'm sitting at home and the dog starts barking or the kids start crying or whatever, if I have my talk button on, we'll pick all that up. So I may take the talk button off. I still show up in here. Excuse me. I still show up in here. And then down here, if I want to say something, I just type it in and hit return. And then it shows up in the chat room right here. You'll notice the chat room says supervised. And what that means is you can't really, I turn off the ability for people to have chat behind the room, behind the class. Okay. So you can't have little sidebars going on. You can have sidebars going on, but it's going to show up right here. And that's pretty much it. So you're basically watching what goes on over here, which will be the normal things that happen in any class. Like right now, I'm going to...
As educators, we find networking with local teachers to be very helpful.
So as you can see, I just started running a little video to introduce my students in the 689 class to what we are doing. I can go down here and I can say, here is one of the examples that a student made that is was in a previous class, and I can click on her link that would take us to her wiki space where all of her stuff lives, and I can walk my students through what it looks like. Pop back a tab, we're back where we started. So this is essentially it. That's all there is to it. Now, you may have heard when it started talking, or when I started the class, it came up and it said recording started. I usually have mine set to automatic. So that way, if I get busy with people in the room who are physically in the room asking me questions, it is actually running in real time. I don't do an awful lot with things like hand raising. I do set it to where when you come in, it raises your hand automatically. I find that most people, if they really want to jump in, ask a question, or contribute, they'll just click their talk button. I have a question for the class. How do we know that this is really the way it should work? Click off, and now you can sit back and listen, or again, you come down here into the chat room and use it. The features for recording, etc., are nothing for you to worry about. That's my job. When the class is finished, I will click and close the Collaborate window. And I always watch over here on the left-hand side. In other words, if I still see a body sitting in here, then I never close the window. But when everybody's left, I close the window, say OK. And now what happens, and this is frankly a little point of frustration on my part. I have some people who will say, I can't be in class tonight, but I'll watch the video tonight. And I'm like, if it's 2.5 hours worth of class, then it's going to be hard to watch the video because it takes it close to that long to actually create the class video. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So after we have a session, it creates a recording. Now, what I've got here is a recording that already is existing. That's why I left it in here so you could see it. I don't even know if this is going to play, but we'll try. Yeah, that's what I thought. They actually have time date stamps on this. What'll happen is that recording, and you'll see them because I'll have them named correctly, whatever the time date stamp is. Well, I don't do time, I just do date. So the date will be here, and then I usually have something that says this was module 1, how to do whatever. In the case of 580, you know, the modules have to do with something we're going to call digital life and digital citizenship. You get the idea. Each one of these little videos will have a title that is specific to what happened in that class. You click on it, and again, it launches, and you can sit and you can watch class. Now, when we say watch class, what do we mean? We mean this. We mean this screen. This is what you'll see. There is the ability to jump through the video. So what a lot of people will do is they will listen to the beginning, and then they'll jump ahead a little bit just by clicking on a link. And then they'll say, okay, he's talking about something I need to listen to. Sit down and listen. Then when it starts peeling off into discussions in the class, if I can't hear it, well, then I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to click further in and see if I can pick up. There's a term in video production that applies here, and it's called scrubbing. And that's basically where you can take a insertion point cursor, if you will, and you can drag it through something and either see it or you can hear it. Collaborate will do that, but it is nowhere near quickly. It doesn't happen very quickly. So just to give you a heads up. When you are finished in your Collaborate session, you don't have to do anything. You basically just leave. I'm the one who basically closes everything out. All right, that's it. Let me make sure we are all understanding how this works. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the help screen in Blackboard. We are going to run the test your browser for compatibility. When we get into the class, we are going to look for something called Collaborate Sessions. We're going to look for the link. We are then going to click on Join Room. When this happens, the first time you do this, you are going to have to save this little file called meeting.colab. Let's go through that real fast, shall we? So now I'm going to save the file. I'm going to say OK. On my Mac, it automatically downloads it to the downloads. And on a PC, believe it or not, does the same thing. So now when I'm ready to join the room the first time, I'm going to have to build the link to where that little Colab app now lives. So I'm going to open with, and now I'm going to do a little bit of navigating. This is the same, by the way. I don't care if I'm on a PC or a Mac. It works the exact same way. I'm going to go hunting, and I'm going to go find where my downloads might be, and there it is. Now on a PC, it works exactly the same. On a PC, though, I go into Documents and I go into Downloads. The downloads are kept inside the Documents folder on a PC. On a PC also, you could probably do it from your left-hand side up where it says Documents on the screen. You can click on that and you'll see the downloads. But here it is. The first time I have to go find this, and then I'm going to say Open. Then I'm going to say OK. Now what it's going to do, on a Mac it says, hey, this was something you downloaded from the internet. Do you trust it? Yes. Open. And Does it want me to move it to the application folder? Again, that's a Mac thing. Sure. But what I'm doing here is what is called building a path. And I don't care if you're on a Mac or a PC, you are building a path. Now, look what just came up. It says, do you want to run this application? Because Java is a security threat. It's just that simple. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say, yes, I would like to run this application. Now, nothing happens. And then finally, this pops up, and finally, that pops up. Okay?
Recording in progress.
And you heard her just say she's recording. Now, what's so fascinating about all this is that once you build this path on the computer that you're going to be using for your distance ed class, you're done. All you'll have to do the next time you want to get into class is you will come in here and you will click on join the room, and poof, everything just happens. On a PC, you may get that message about running Java, and there might be a little button below it that says do not ask, to do this again. Just make sure you tell it that. In other words, you trust this application. On a Mac, it doesn't trust anything. So it basically, once you've done it, it just kind of begrudgingly says, okay, all right, I'll let you use this. Okay, I think I've covered it all. If you have any questions, those of you who will be in my class, you know how to reach me. So if you go to set this up on your computer and it doesn't work, or your Java is all fouled up, those of you who will be taking my courses, you may reach me via text, that means the phone, at 502-457-2937. Do not hesitate to send me a text. My former students will tell you that if I don't get back right away, it's maybe an hour, and then you'll hear back from me. And we can have, nice long conversations via text, and I can even send you links that will show you how to set things up. But what I've just shown you today is pretty much all you need to know. So those of you who will be joining me this summer, or at any time, through the Collaborate and a Distance Ed way, this is how you set it up to become a part of our class. Hope to see you in class via Collaborate.